It's the 31 degrees, 70% humidity weather. Or just a typical day in the tropics. So you might be wondering, how can I keep my equator living as stylish and sweat-free? Let's do the research. Huh, that helps. Okay, the thing is, and this is coming from someone who's been living in Singapore all his life, you will sweat in the tropics. And anyone telling you otherwise is probably trying to sell you something. So embrace that fact and tell yourself, no tropic heat can stop me from the drip. Now, the good news is there are ways to clamp down the clamminess and compound the coolness. Let's get to it. First, a little fun fact. We all have these things called pulse points, and there are 9 of them on our bodies. As the name suggests, these points are where you can feel your pulse because the blood vessels are so close to the skin. And because they are so close to the skin, any cooling around these points will cool you down instantly. So the trick here is to promote airflow and reduce friction around these areas. Some practical tips include wearing a wide brim bucket hat that provides shade to your face and temples, wearing open collar shirts or unbuttoning the top 2 buttons of your shirt, rolling up your sleeves but not so high up that it cuts off circulation on your elbows, swapping the watch for a bracelet, wearing more forgiving trousers that don't hug your thighs and knees, rocking low vam loafers and sandals as opposed to high vam loafers or boots that will rub against the pulse points. Moving on, this one is less of a tip and more of a question for you. Nearly everyone recommends wearing white clothing during the summer, but the more I think about it, the more confused I get. Okay, hear me out. The whole premise of wearing white is that it reflects radiation heat from the sun. But because our body temperature hovers around 37 degrees and the external temperature is almost always lower, say 28 degrees, and since heat travels from hot to cold environments, won't our body heat be reflected back if we are wearing white? On the other hand, if we are wearing black, more heat from the sun will get absorbed. But our body heat can also be conducted away. So can someone answer which color gives a greater cooling effect? Because I surely don't. Personally, I can't feel the difference, so I'm led to believe that either the effects are negligible or it's just a placebo. Of course, there are other factors to consider like the fit of the clothing, the fabric weave, and the surrounding wind conditions. So if any of you know anything conclusive about this, drop me a comment below. Colors aside, you want to wear summer appropriate fabrics that are lightweight and breathable. Think linen and rayon shirts, seersucker shorts, hopsack jackets, and tropical wool trousers. Oh, and about my equator living as, I've learned to never underestimate the power of a good underwear. In the tropics, less is typically more, so ditch your fabric bunching boxer briefs and go for a briefs instead. I'd avoid anything cotton as it will feel clammy from the inevitable sweat. Although slightly more pricey, a modal or micro modal pair is worth the investment. It wears thinner, is more breathable, and feels dry even when wet. Another tip to make things more bearable is to reduce the bulk directly in contact with your skin. Remember, bulk adds friction, and friction is not your friend. Any additional friction generated will amplify your discomfort. For me, that means not putting my phone, wallet, and keys in my shirt or trouser pockets and keeping them in a lightweight and unlined jacket instead. But you can use a crossbody bag too. Even though this adds one more layer of bulk, it doesn't come into direct contact with my skin, so it doesn't bother me much. Of course, wearing unlined shoes, trousers with an unlined waistband, and softly constructed shirts can help too. Lastly, though it's not style related, but perhaps the most important point to surviving the tropics is to avoid direct exposure to the sun. It's that simple. Just avoid the sun whenever you can. Whether it's traveling in the morning when the sun isn't up, walking under the shade, using an umbrella, but if the sun rays are inevitable, then hydrate often and apply sunscreen and bring along a portable fan. And that's how I survived the tropics. Let me know in the comments which tips you found most helpful and what are some of your favorite fits for the hot and humid weather. Until next time, stay subtle.